Hi everyone! So today I'm going to make pupusas for total beginners. And how do we know it's for total beginners? Well, first, I'm not Salvadorian. For all of you who didn't know, pupusas is the most typical Salvadorian dish there is. As far as I know, I've never made them before. And I'm a self-made chef. I'm not professional here, so let's see how it goes. The first thing I'm going to make is the curtido. Curtido means pickled or fermented, so it does need to sit for some time, at least 30 minutes. You can also make it the night before and leave it marinated in the fridge overnight. That's actually going to add some extra flavor and texture. You can buy red cabbage and carrots separately, but I find it much easier to just grab this ready-to-eat coleslaw mix from the stores, as you can see here. In a small bowl, add half cup of water, a quarter cup of vinegar, a teaspoon of oregano. It's better if you have Mexican oregano, but I just use regular. Half teaspoon of salt, or to taste. 1 teaspoon of chili flakes, or to taste. You can also add jalapenos instead. Half teaspoon of black pepper, or to taste. We're going to stir a little bit. Add 3 cups of coleslaw and half an onion previously chopped into a bowl. Cover that with the mix we just made, making sure it's covering everything evenly. We're going to put this aside and let it sit for at least 30 minutes. But as I mentioned earlier, it's a good option to make it the night before to let it absorb more flavors. In a medium bowl, add 8 ounces of pork. That translates to half a pound. First thing I always like to do is season the meat. First, we're going to add black pepper. For this amount, I added about half a teaspoon, but it's always up to taste. Add about half a teaspoon of cumin as well. Add salt. Not much because this is always adjusted in the end, and with this seasoning it's always up to taste anyways. Then we're going to mix it all nicely together, and then of course, let's wash our hands. Then we grab an onion. We're going to get rid of the top, the bottom. Now let's peel it and let's start chopping. We will only need half of it. Now we need half a tomato. We're going to cut it in halves, and you can peel it if you want, but I mostly like to leave the skin on my vegetables. We're going to remove the seeds, and we're going to cube it. Then we're going to peel 2 cloves of garlic. I find that mashing them like that makes the peeling much easier, and it also brings out all the flavor. You can already smell it. Pour about 2 tablespoons of oil into a pan, set it to medium-high temperature, and wait until it's heated. Then we're going to add the pork and let it fry until it's golden brown and crispy. Add a sprinkle of oregano, chili flakes, and a bit of paprika. Try not to mess too much with it. Maybe a few stirs here and there, but let the heat do its magic mostly. Add onions, stir, and let it fry until soft. For about 3-5 minutes. Add the garlic and let it fry for another 3 minutes. At this point, you could also add chopped sweet red peppers, but for me it's just fine with garlic and onion. We're going to add the pork mixture into a food processor, then add the tomato. Now we're going to blend it until we get a paste, as you can see here. It's not supposed to be watery. Taste and adjust salt and pepper if necessary. For the dough, I'm going to use this instant corn masa flour from Masa. I believe it's one of the most popular ones. Add 3 cups of flour into a large bowl. We're going to slowly start adding the water. Let's start with 1.5 cups of warm water. I use half cold water and half boiling water. And now let's start making the dough. If it's still too grainy, add more water and keep doing this until the texture is similar to clay. This is what the texture is supposed to look like. You're supposed to be able to mold it. Now, let's try making bowl to see. Oh, there you are. It's ready. We're going to divide it in 6 parts and start making balls. I have a bowl of water and oil in it on the side to moisturize my hands in case the dough starts getting too sticky. My balls are ready. Now the fun part. We're going to add the filling. We're going to grab a ball, make them flat and round like this, then add the filling. In this case, I chose pork and mozzarella cheese, but you could skip the pork and make it vegetarian, or add beans, chicken, or other protein. The possibilities are almost limitless. I'm adding about a tablespoon of the pork mix and a tablespoon and a half of cheese per pupusa. Be careful with adding too much filling because the pupusas might crack when trying to wrap them. But if you see they are getting cracked, just use the water you have on the side to patch them. It's like magic, you see? Voila, like nothing happened. The pupusas are ready to be fried now. To fry them, add a shallow layer of oil onto a frying pan. Fry each side at medium-high temperature until they are golden brown and heat it through. Don't mess with them during this time because they could get destroyed. Just flip once. It might depend on your stove, but with mine, it took about 5 minutes each side. And there you go. Our pupusas are ready. I served them with the curtido that we previously made and some hot sauce. I know it's usually served with salsa, but I didn't want to make it more complicated this time. Now let's give them a try. Beautiful.